Joe Biden entirely to blame for the crisis on the southern border. This is from the New York Post, so they're not fans of Biden, generally speaking, although they're not fans of Trump either at this point. I will point this out. This is mostly true. The border crisis is not 100% Joe Biden's fault. It is also now partially the fault of the goddamn Republicans. They easily could have instituted language in the omnibus bill. They could have foreshortened it far beyond September number 1. Waited until the House was controlled by the GOP number 2. Of course, that's TikTok. It's basically now. They could have done that and forced the Democrats to fund border wall expansion. Instead, the only insinuation into the entire bill that addresses the border crisis explicitly makes it plain as day that it can't be used for anything other than speeding up the processing of illegals once they come over and completing some electronic monitoring systems. That's it. You can't build any wall. You can't hire more ICE agents. You can't use it to deport people. You can't use it to deny the processing to would-be asylum seekers who in many cases can't even prove what home nation they're coming from. This was horseshit. The Republicans should have stood their ground and said, look, let the government shut down for a few weeks. Once we take the House, we're going to strip some of the leftoidism out of the omnibus bill, and we're going to fund the wall because, we already expanded it a few years ago. It worked in those areas as long as the government was actually willing to police the border. It's a lot cheaper than a lot of the stuff in this way. For $5 billion, a drop in the bucket compared to what you gave to Ukraine just now. For $45 billion, you could revamp the whole border. You could improve the whole thing. Everything that's not upgraded to modern bollard with electronic monitoring could be upgraded. And you could hire thousands more agents. And you could probably double the speed of deportation, all for that one sum of money. But the skinflints would rather use it to give rocket launchers to people over in another country while denying you more than 10 bullets in a magazine. Yeah, their priorities are completely out of whack. So the Republicans take a huge L for that. It makes me question the next couple of years how capable they will be of countermanding any of the bullshit that Biden's been pulling. So fuck them. And they should have done better. So Biden's mostly to blame. I mean, he refuses to police the border. He has openly threatened states that have attempted to shore up the border defense system, like in Arizona with the shipping containers. He's openly threatened states that attempt to use the state guard or private groups to police the border. He's mostly responsible. And then certainly he wouldn't want to allocate money to solving the border crisis. But the Republicans didn't push the issue. And for that, they share at least partial blame. We know that the Democrats aren't going to stand for it. Fuck, you just took back the House of Representatives. Do your fucking job. Instead, McConnell, who's of course not in the House, comes out and says, well, the number one priority for Republicans is saving Ukraine. No, it's not. I think that the southern border crime, the recession that we're arguably still in, or pre-recession, and inflation, I think those are more important day to day for the American citizenry.